Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, I've done a story this morning about how senior officers feel about the Hate Crime Act and what its impacts will be on day-to-day policing, as well as tying up officers doing spurious searches and investigations over people who are deliberately weaponising this useless, terrible law. And I did mention in there that, of course, it didn't just affect the senior officers. It also affected the rank and file officers. Well, on that, we're going to have a look because there is a rank and file officer. She has been onto social media and has commented anonymously about what she sees are the problems, why she doesn't like it. She's feeling very uncomfortable with it, and is saying that it is not going to be good for the people of Scotland if the police are constantly tied up with this ridiculously stupid law. Which is hardly news, we all know this. But we'll take a look, because this is policing at the pointy end. This isn't those high ups sitting there far away from the action in their plush offices shuffling paperwork. We're getting people at the rough end of policing, and they're giving their views. So let's take a look. So, Scottish police officer says she's really, really uncomfortable with hate crime typecasting. And this is a woman, she went on, she's a serving officer, and she's been on social media, but obviously she doesn't want to reveal her name, and who can say that we blame her? She'd rather just make the comments anonymously because she feels it's important that people know. Now, of course, I've been calling that we do this thing from the first, and absolutely we must break the law. And when I say break the law, I don't mean going out and physically breaking the law. I mean we must snap this law to make sure that this law doesn't stay in place. And it does mean that we are going to have to abuse the police somewhat for a short period of time. And it's the only way that this will happen. So join with us. And if you are yet to subscribe, please do subscribe. You'll want to follow this story. We will keep you informed as to what we're doing. And I'm sure that not only will I be putting stuff up, but I'm sure other people will be sitting there in the comments explaining what they have done, what they've complained about, and things like that. And if anyone wants to talk about something particular about this on this subject, just get in touch with me in the comments or email me. You all know the email address, so it's there. You can see it, and social media as well. So please join. Let's just all keep pushing this. Make it big. Make it a community effort to try and break this stupid law. Anyway, more Police Scotland officers on social media are lashing out at Humza Yousaf's Hate Crime Act, which is due to be enforced by the force from April the 1st. This is amid fears that frontline cops are about to be swamped with spurious complaints. No, they're not spurious complaints. They're all going to be genuine, real complaints. That's the point. A Police Scotland officer has criticised the SNP's Hate Crime Act on social media. The anonymous cop took issue with the guidance, suggesting that young white men from poorer backgrounds are more likely to commit hate crime. Now, that is in of itself a hate crime, because you're saying that this targeted group are the ones most likely to do it. By saying that, surely I would find that very offensive and hate-filled. That in of itself, whoever said that, needs to be investigated. This is why I say this act is going to fail, because the people who are saying things like this are the ones most likely to be prosecuted under it for hate crime, because they sit there in their virtuous glass houses. Look at me, I'm up here, I'm brilliant, I'm virtuous, I can't break any rules. It's all you poor white boys, 18 to 30, age, sex, and class, social class, all sorts of things. Hate. She posted, I'm going to be honest, as someone with brothers who fit this bracket and also raising good boys, I'm really, really uncomfortable with this typecasting. The ex-account, Miss PC&G, so obviously a female police constable in Glasgow, I would imagine, contains numerous posts making it clear the owner is a serving officer. On December the 18th, she posted, the resourcing this weekend across the West has been nothing short of a disgrace, and the risk placed on frontline cops, who are simply people at their work, has been borderline criminally negligent. Well, I hope my darling, that you are not criticising the government led by Humza Yousaf. He would perhaps see that as Islamophobia. You could be arrested and jailed for up to 7 years for that. Careful. Raising concerns about the state of the force's ageing fleet of vehicles, she said earlier this month, sometimes 50% of vehicles off the road, often for months, no garage spares to replace them, not enough keys for cops to answer calls, or no cell vans for violent prisoners. It's miles off being good enough. Anyway, her comments about the hate crime bill followed the widely derided hate monster campaign, which we have covered, which everyone has covered. It's literally gone around the world. There are papers, and I've seen them, Australia, all over the Midwest America, East Coast, West Coast America, US, Canada, right? European newspapers, German, De Stern had it. It's everywhere. Humza Yousaf, you are a world-class clown. Anyway, she asked the bizarre question, why do some people... the campaign was asking the bizarre question, why do some people let the hate monster in? They didn't let him in, they voted him in. Only the people of Scotland didn't vote him in. The members of the SNP voted him in. That's where the hate monster's sitting, in bloody Butte House. And it does look like a large, upturned, hairy testicle, doesn't it? So it can't really be Humza Yousaf. He doesn't have any. Anyway, in answer to the force claim, we know that young men aged 18 to 30 are the most likely to commit hate crime, which, as I say, is in itself a hate crime. Particularly those from socially excluded communities who are heavily influenced by their peers. Now, if you were to say socially excluded and influenced by the peers, they talk about young Muslim men, aren't they? 18 to 30 Muslim men. That's describing them perfectly. They may have deep-rooted feelings of being socially and economically disadvantaged. Still young Muslim men. Combined with ideas about white male entitlement. Again, Muslim men thinking about how those white men are entitled, even though young white men from an underprivileged background are the ones least entitled. It's all bollocks, and you can spin everything any way you like. So this is how easy it is, people, to find hate everywhere. So you've got young men, 18 to 30, age group, white, male entitlement, sexist, racist. Everything. Bang. And you can do this. And this is genuine. This, under the hate crime, I find that hateful. I report that. I want that investigated. I want the person who wrote that to be told that that is a hate crime, and I want their names taken and put on a register. We will win. Because they keep doing this. They don't have the wit to realise that they are the ones filled with hate. And this, of course, is how we break them all. Another anonymous Scottish cop, posting on X as PC Thistle, replied with a picture of the hate monster in the eyes emoji. This officer, whose bio states they are a constable, is another who appears unimpressed with the hate crime legislation. One recent post says, reminder, the police don't make laws. They don't. They rarely understand the ones that they have been made because they're so complex. That's not running down the cops. It's literally a point that some of the laws are so complex that nobody understands them. Let me tell you. Okay, tangent time. Years ago, we were doing a job and we were building something, whatever, and we had an issue with tax, VAT. Now, we said because this was part of a new build, we were using this part of the tax code to say that we could claim the VAT back on it. And then there was another part of the tax code that said that it was not claimable by VAT. And so you have, and this is the problem, and it isn't just this, it's so complex. So we had these two, both legal tax codes. One says we could, one says we couldn't. What to do? In the end, we had to actually go to court, and the judge thankfully came down on our side. And this happens a lot. The tax code in this country is so complex that the taxman himself does not understand it. And that is why so many tax cases end up going to court. Because nobody has made the decision as to which one is the right one. And so they have to get the courts to decide what the tax code is, because the tax code is so damn complicated. Famously, McVitie's Jaffa Cakes. I give you that one. They said it's a cake. They won their case because if it was a cake and covered in chocolate, there's no VAT. If it was a biscuit covered in chocolate, there is VAT. And McVitie's had to go to court to prove it was a cake, and so they baked a very big one. And they said basically the rule is this: leave it out 3 days. A cake goes hard, a biscuit goes soft. They left the cake out. The Jaffa cake went hard. Case was won. But it happens all the time. Anyway, that's a different video for a different day. Complex Scottish laws. Well, complex tax laws, but complex laws anyway. Anyway, another Scottish officer on X, posting as PC Toadfish, asked, "Am I being stupid here? If a famous Scot tweets out something grossly offensive and hateful under this new law, how are we managing 200 people raising a complaint all at their local offices and divisions? How do we merge this? Who's the reporter?" UB Hotel, who appears to be another Scottish police officer, replied, "So what you're saying is we need another made-up department to deal with this." Yes, you do. And here's the thing. Let's say, for example, and this is the problem they've got. So let's say, for example, that pick one at random, Ross Greer comes out on middle of next week, Wednesday next week, and says something that is actually grossly offensive, and people will think, "Oh, no, I don't like that," all that. So, all over Scotland, 5,000 people complain. From Ardnamurchan to, Inverness to Ayr, Dumfries, Glasgow, Edinburgh, doesn't matter. All over Scotland, 1,000 complaints. Does that mean that every officer who receives it has to individually go and investigate each time? Or are they going to group them all together? No one's worked this one out yet. This is the stupidity of this law. Does it mean that, I've had 1,000... So every individual complaint has to be reported and investigated? Does that mean that 1,000 officers are all going to knock on Greer's door? Oh, I do hope so. I absolutely would love that. That'd be cracking. Anyway, I shall stop there, come up, and we shall finish. But it's quite clear that the police don't like this either. Coming up. It's going to be fun on Monday. It's going to be fun for at least a week or two till they get this law repealed, because, they're going to be so fed up. But this is the thing. How many police are going to investigate? They don't talk to each other. Do you have to create a whole hate department? I mean, that's starting to sound definitely Orwellian, isn't it? The Ministry of Hate. Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video, and I will speak to you later. Bye.